Augmentation Evoker is a brand new specialization coming to the Evoker class in 10.1.5. This specialization is unlike any others as it is a combat buffer. So it's very unique and has some really interesting utilities. And in this video, we're going to give you guys a first look at what some of that utility is, what its damage breakdown looks like as I discover the Augmentation Evoker. This is our one shot apparently, okay? If you guys are looking for a Swifty one shot on Evoker. First thing, step number one, cast Ebon Might. Casting Ebon Might. Now, Ebon Might, for everybody that wants to know, you increase your 4 nearest allies' primary stat by 14% of your own and cause you to deal 14% more damage. So by casting this buff, not only do I increase my own damage, but I increase the damage of my allies also. Next up after that, we're going to use Breath of Eons. So this is a new spell as well. Fly to the targeted location, exposing temporal wounds on enemies in your path for 7 seconds. Temporal wounds accumulates 21% of the damage dealt by your allies affected by Ebon Might, then critically strike that amount as arcane damage. It's like a Touch of the Magi. So basically you debuff the enemy and it makes it so they take like a big explosion of damage at the end of it, I think. And then you're going to tip the scales Fire Breath. We know what that does. Rank 1 Upheaval. Gather earthen power beneath your target, sending hurtling forward, dealing volcanic damage, increases the duration of your active Ebon Might. So by using Upheaval, you increase the duration of your Ebon Might, which we know is that buff for yourself and your teammate, and then you get your instant Living Flame proc. Okay, so let's try it. This is the dam. We're going to go for the Ebon Might. We're going to go for this. We're going to go for a Tip the Scales Fire Breath. We're going to use our instant Living Flame procs. We're going to go for Eruption, Eruption, Eruption. Spend our points on that. Oh, I forgot the rank 1 Upheaval. Dude, that hits for 100k. What the frick? After my Tip the Scales Fire Breath, I forgot my Upheaval. So that's kind of like the, I guess, the burst / damage rotation. When you get Essence, so Eruption is going to be like the thing you cast. Eruption is like your main attack. It's an AoE attack. It feels like it does low damage, but... So when you use Eruption, I guess the main nice thing about it is it increases the duration of your Ebon Might. I guess the game is all about Ebon Might, which once again is the thing that buffs your allies and yourself. What is this? Oh, protect an ally. I get these blistering scales. It gives me molten blood. Armor increased by 30%. Melee attacks against you have a chance to cause an explosion of volcanic. That's kind of cool. It's like their own version of thorns. They get like a thorns with the blistering scales. That's nice. All right, let's do the damage rotation again, okay? We're going in. We're casting an Ebon Might. After the Ebon Might, we do the breath of then we go here, then we go here for an Upheaval. We use our instant Living Flame, and then we can spam Eruptions. Oh, that actually does big damn. So we got the damage rotation down a little bit, which is nice. And now we get to check out their utility spells. One thing while I'm doing this burst, guys, when we're testing out some of these new abilities, I think it's important to remember that this burst is actually buffing your team's burst too. Even though I'm doing a decent amount of damage, you're also greatly increasing the damage of your team. You know? I give 3% crit to my team. We cast Ebon Might. We go on for a Breath of the Eons, which is like the Touch of the Magi. We go on for an instant Living Flame, Upheaval, instant Living Flame, Eruption, Eruption, instant Living Flame, Eruption, and then let's see how much damage that does. Did like in 70, 80k burst, and that's without my team's damage as well. So very, very interesting playstyle, and I still have my Ebon Might up. So a lot of it is just prolonging that Ebon Might as long as you can. You're just saying words at this point? I'm not just saying words. And then of course you can use pre-sciences too. You have pre-science, grant an ally the gift of foresight. So you can pre-buff your team with some crit. But that's not the coolest thing, okay? So let me show you a few other of their spells, okay? Let's take a look at some of the utility spells that the Augmentation Evoker has, okay? So this is one of the coolest. It's called Bestow Wyvern Stone. Okay, so you use this buff on your teammate, okay? You get this buff up on your team. And now, with this buff, there's a way for us to like portal to each other, I think. Oh, you get an item in your bag. And you're going to keybind this item. And with this keybind, you can use it to teleport. That's pretty cool, huh? You have an item in your bag. So you can use it to like teleport across the map. I think it has a 100-yard range. Yeah, it's a 100-yard range. 100. Here, come here. So I want you guys to understand how far 100 yards is, okay? You can literally teleport to the other side of Tolvaron Arena. And yes, it's usable in battlegrounds. It's one of their interesting utility spells, okay? So, on top of having the 100-yard range teleport, you have two different buffs that you can use. You have a black attunement and bronze attunement. Black attunement increases your health of you and your team, and bronze attunement increases the move speed of you and your team. So you'll be able to go between those two. You have blistering scales, which is an armor buff. So it's a buff you can put on your team. It's like a shield. It's an absorb shield, but on top of it being an absorb shield, it has a thorns-like effect that grants a bunch of armor. So it gives you a bit of a damage reduction via armor, and then also it's like a thorns, which is kind of cool. And then obviously pre-science, you can use that before your go to buff crit. So you have a cheat death. So you have like a cauterize. Fatal attacks are diverted into a nearby timeline, preventing the damage and your death in this one. The release of the temporal energy restores health to you and health to nearby allies. Healing starts high and declines over the duration. So you actually have a 6-minute cheat death, similar to Cauterize, except it seems even better than Cauterize because it doesn't burn you down. You have Cauterize as this spec, which is interesting. Okay, so this is casting an empowered spell. Let's see here. Grants shifting sands to one ally, increasing their versatility. So I guess I have to actually hit something for that. So that's an interesting one. So your empowered spells, based off your mastery, grant a buff to your team. So there it is. There's the buff. So as I cast my empowered spells, it actually increases the versatility of my team. 5.5% versatility is not bad. And versatility, the bonus versatility scales off your mastery. So it makes it really good to stack mastery because you're going to be giving crazy amounts of versatility to your team, which obviously, as we know, is damage reduction as well as just bonus damage. And then this is important to know, Sands of Time. Eruption increases the duration of your Ebb and Might, and empowered spells increase the duration of your active Ebb and Might. Breath of Eons increases the damage of your Ebb and Might effects by 5%. This effect can critically strike, increasing the duration of Ebb and Might by an additional 50%. And then you have a passive. I don't know if everybody gets this passive, or is that just a passive for you? But you have a passive that gives you 10% cooldown reduction. Interwoven threads for augmentation. Might be some other talents that are interesting. Pre-science grants the ally a chance for their spells and ability to echo their damage and healing, dealing 15% of the damage again. So that's cool. Your instant cast like crit buff, you can empower that with this talent to make it so they get a chance to do 15% additional damage. He said spatial paradox. A 1.8 minute cooldown. Evoke a paradox for you and your friendly healer, allowing casting while moving and increasing the range of most of their spells by 100%. So that I think is going to be a really interesting one for PvP, and I think it's worth checking out. So I'll show you what this one does. So it allows them to cast while moving and increases the range by 100%. It's a long cooldown, but you're going to see what that means. Now, it only works on healers. So you're going to have like 60-yard range Cyclone, for example. Like I'm going to be able to give this to my team, and then he can have like 60-yard range Cyclone. You could probably Living Flame. Try Living Flaming me. Yeah, so you can see there's going to be a lot of utility there. You're going to be able to get big sheeps. You're going to be able to get, regrowths. You can Hodge. Yeah, that's an interesting one. Imagine pairing it with a Holy Paladin and landing a Hammer of Justice and Repentance from twice as far away. So I think there's going to be some really interesting utility there. It is a long cooldown, so I think that is it's worth mentioning. Are there any other fun abilities that we're missing? Very, very cool. And then so another thing I think is worth mentioning and talking about is they have some unique PvP talents. The first one that's interesting is Born in Flame. So I'm pretty sure Born in Flame is just to make the rotation feel a bit smoother. We showcased it a little bit, but what it does is it makes it so when you cast your Ebb and Might, which is one of your most important spells, it's the one that increases the damage of your team and stuff, it gives you burnout instantly and every 6 seconds. So if you actually get the Ebb and Might off, which you should be able to, you get instant Living Flame procs for both offense and defense in PvP. So you're going to be able to help with like more offensive damage with those Living Flames. So that's cool. The second unique PvP talent that they have is called Dreamwalker's Embrace. It makes it so Verdant Embrace tethers you to an ally, increasing movement speed by 40% and slowing and siphoning life from enemies who come in contact with the tether. So, it's on my bar. Oh, just Verdant Embrace, sorry. The tether lasts 10 seconds or until you move more than 30 yards away. So when I get here, My life is now tethered to his, causing enemies you touch the tether to be slowed. So this does damage and slows if they are in this line. So my immediate thoughts looking at the spec is it's going to work really well with like a melee. Like I imagine like a Fury Warrior. I think it's going to work really well with a melee that can basically just like dive bomb somebody, play really close range, you know? Like a Frosty K. Yeah, Frosty K would be, the Frosty K bangs would be big time. Watch this. You guys want to see what 100 yards looks like on this shit? This is the 100-yard teleport. Look at this shit. Oh my god! Yeah, it's pretty far. It's basically on the other side of the universe. I want to try this damage one more time. All right, here we go. We got a trinket proc. Ebon Might. Breath of Eons. Tip the Scales Fire Breath. I almost 100 him by myself. Like, that damage is not bad. That damage is not fucking bad, man. And I'm a buffer. Like, I'm just the guy that buffs you. Bro, not too bad. Like, and keep in mind, while I'm doing that, I'm buffing everyone else. I feel like Augmentation has a lot of potential. You also have off healing too, so keep that in mind. You're like a little secondary healer. Personally, I'm scared shitless of Augmentation Evoker. You have to keep in mind, while I'm doing that, I am simultaneously giga buffing my team. Okay, so my teammates are getting giga buffed. So my own personal burst is like, it's okay, it's not bad, but you're really buffing up your team. You're actually buffing them with main stat, you're buffing them with a bunch of versatility, and you're buffing them with crit. The mastery and stuff like that just depends on, so with this, it is a 3% crit buff, but you can get another talent to make it echo damage. Your Breath of Eons is also accumulating damage from your team. So while you're doing damage, that's going to be doing more damage. Your Ebon Might, how much does Ebon Might give you? Cause you to deal 14% more damage. So they get 14% of my main stat. So how much is that? My main stat is at, they get like 900 main stat. More than that. They get like 1,000 main stat. Pretty fucking good. 1,000 main stat is more than a proc trinket gives you. So I'm giving them a proc trinket worth of main stat. I'm giving them crit. I'm giving them the chance to deal additional damage. And I'm also giving them versatility. Pretty interesting. 1,200 int. Yeah. The versatility depends on your mastery. So my mastery is extremely low. So I'm only giving them 5.5% versatility. But if you get a lot more mastery, that number, I think, goes up by a significant amount. And so here's one more thing that I forgot to mention for PvP talents is you have Dream Projection. You have a Dream Projection. Do you know what Dream Projection is? Dream Projection is the AoE mass dispel on all magic effects that also dispels your healer. So when my healer's in a poly, I can dispel it every minute. Or in a fear, or whatever it is. And I can AoE dispel my whole team. I can triple dispel UA. You test Seismic Slam, the AoE stun? I don't even know what that is. Seismic Slam. What the hell is that? Landslide. Oh! Landslide causes enemies who are mid-air to be slammed. Oh. So what do? You upheaval into landslide? Oh my god! Dude, they have an AoE stun? They have AoE kidney? Wait, that's the best thing yet! That's so cool. So that's a nice combo. If you upheaval, which AoEs them up in the air, and then you immediately landslide, it drags them back to the ground. Dude, this spec is kind of cool. Wait, what? This spec's neat. I like it. Pre-science? Pre-science to go? They're going to have to balance people with how broken Augmentation makes them. All right, watch this. Here's a little wombo combo. So during my wombo combo, I'm actually going to slam them to the ground with a landslide, okay? So let's pre-buff. Here we go. Big damn. Upheaval. Seismic Slam. Dude. Yeah, there's a cheat death. I'm excited. And then look at this. Dream Projection for my whole team. And Dream Projection is a big heal, by the way. And then I'm going to be able to put this stupid laser thing on. Oh my god, it's going to be so fun to just be a little augmentation. I feel like I want to play this spec. I'm going to be an Augmentation Evoker main, dude. This shit looks fun, actually. Wait, am I actually randomly excited? So here, I'm excited at the prospect of playing Augmentation, But I have to say, I'm getting real prop paladin vibes here. Like, I'm getting real tank spec vibes. Like that. So I don't really know. What do you guys think? Do you think that this is gonna be cool? Do you think that this is gonna be like fucking ridiculous? Like, what do you guys think? I don't really see the spec being bad, to be honest with you. I have a hard time seeing the spec being bad. Very interesting spec. Very, very, very interesting spec. What is this? Breath of Eons reduces enemies' movement speed by 70% and reduces their attack speed by 50%? The shit is that? Whoa, reactive hide. Each time blistering scales explodes, it deals 10% more damage for 13.1 seconds. That's interesting. Wait, can you auto attack me? That's like 8. It's not a lot, but it's not that insignificant. The bottom right talent is OP. Fate Mirror. Yeah, I think that is good. Breath of Eons grants you Fury of the Aspects for 15 seconds after you land. Whoa. Wait, that's crazy. So I didn't even know this, but when you use Breath, it gives you Bloodlust. That's really neat. Oh my god, what? Okay, we're learning how to do damn, bro. That was a 240k crit as a support class. All right. We're learning how to do damn. Oh, we can see what their set bonuses do, too. All right, so the set bonuses next season, or their set bonuses are Ebon Might increases the damage of your empowered spells by 30%. What? Dude, what? So I'm going to have 30% more damage on Upheaval and on Fire Breath. Ebon Might increases allies' primary stat by an additional 1% of your own. Oh my god, man. All right, well, this is like our initial discovery of the spec. And I have to say, it looks pretty badass. I have to say, it looks pretty badass.